Hello there everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the unexpected final mission. Today we are going to go rescue Lars and Kerbolo and the Minmus mission from an otherwise certain death, and I'm going to quickly show you why we had problems in the first place. It's really quite simple. I'll just grab this heat shield quick here. I'll revert this in a second. So if you look at this heat shield, if you look very, very carefully at it, look real close, you notice that there's actually two spheres there, two joining spheres. One of those represents the top of this thing, and one of them represents the bottom. Now the problem is, if we put it there, you can actually, you see how it's clipping through now? You can actually anchor it to either one of those, even though it's technically clipping. It's a bit of a, I guess it's a bug with the model of this or something, but the short of it is, if you put it like this in the upper one, you're fine. If you put it like this, you're not. And this is how the it's attached. So if I was to go here, see, this is good, that is bad, and that is why my ship failed right there. It's because this is good, this is bad. And it might not look like a bad thing when you're designing it, but it makes it's the difference between the thing succeeding and the thing failing. So now we know. We have learned a valuable lesson about designing these things. You go, oops. Yeah, also it seems like the probe cores have a bit of a quirk about how they anchor together, so anyways, before I launch this, I'm just going to do a quick bit of tweaking, because as you can see, my staging is completely buggered up. I'd hate to have that screw up in orbit. But the plan is, this thing is going to fly up into orbit, and then we are going to plan a rendezvous with Kerbolo 11 somehow. That part I haven't quite figured out yet, but my hope is that this thing has an adequate... When I say that, it makes me think, gee, I'm not sure if adequate is adequate. But anyways, just a couple more fine-tuning tweaks, and I will meet you at the launch pad to make sure this thing doesn't explode. Sure, that wasn't that much more mass added by that, so why not? That'll be enough electricity to last me for eons. Anyways, a few fine-tuning tweaks, and I'll be right back. So one minor detail we need to look at before we actually launch this thing is we need to figure out what kind of orbit we're in. What was this? Minmus manned lander command. Oh, hold on. Wonder which one of these is actually the one with the man in it. Okay, let's just have a look. I gotta figure out which one of these is which now. 3.6, I think this is the one that Lars is flying. Makes sense, it's out towards the moon. I just need to make sure, see if it's in a prograde or retrograde orbit to Kerbin, because that will determine which direction I have to go when I launch. I'd hate to do all this and wind up in the wrong orbit. Yep, there's Lars. And so what is this thing? Alright, let's see what this beastie is. And maybe we can get rid of it, depending on what it is. Oh, I know what this is. This is that stupid... Do I have anything left on here? The probe core active? Or is it dead? It's dead. It's a dead ship. Alright. Anyways, okay, so it is in... So it's coming down like this. Now, which way is... Alright, it's going this way. This will be the orbit I was in when I launched, which was a... Okay, so it's in a standard orbit. Good. This thing is in a standard orbit. Alright. So, first things first, let's get this beastie to the orbit and take it from there. Switch to. Here we go. So the only real big worry is whether or not this thing's going to explode on the launch pad, and then I will meet you in orbit, because we're going to actually have to talk about how I'm going to Huh. That's different. How about you? Let's do that. All right, SAS on, launching in 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Ooh, boy. This is a little more beastly than I had anticipated. I think we're doing okay though. I just hope I didn't go too excessive on the electrical here. Okay, it looks okay. So I believe I will see you in orbit in a few minutes. Or a few seconds from your perspective. Alrighty guys. Just about the best orbital burn I've done yet. This tank ran out at 60... still had gas left at 68 meters, which means it's actually going to take an eon to deorbit. But it means this thing is sitting in an orbit with 99% of its gas intact. I've only used 4 units of liquid fuel from each tank to finish my orbital burn. So, I've set my target. And the first problem should be pretty apparent. We need to adjust our gradation of our orbit. So we need to tweak it so that our ascending nodes and descending nodes are matched up properly. We are going to hit a ascending node, we just passed the ascending node, so we're going to have to do the descending node. So first burn plan is going to be purely a normal adjustment. So let's put it at 10. And do I have it right? Yes, I do. Okay. So this is how we match the normal. Okay, we're getting pretty close now. Let's see. If I look, here's the trick I was talking about earlier. If you align the ascending node points and the descending node points straight through the planet, like so, then you can tweak them until the two numbers are almost, until basically you can just eyeball it. You can see exactly where the two should be relative to one another. And you can get them really, really close if you do it that way. So even though our apoaps and periaps aren't even remotely close, you see I could probably, just with a little radial adjustment here, if I do a few points into radial here, yeah, look at that. Now that is going to be I'm not shooting for this to be our approach, but this is sort of the ideal point right here for an encounter. We're just getting a little bit of bonus. Actually, no, you know what? We don't want to do that because our long-term plan won't actually... I don't want to waste fuel on that because I'm not entirely sure if that's the way I want to do this yet. So this thing is 3 million kilometers out still. It's 1 hour... No, wait, this is... Yeah, that's it. It's 1 hour away from actually getting here. So we only have a limited window to actually get ourselves aligned for this. I sure hope that should be close. That'll be close. That's the important thing. It says that this adjusted one should be less than a degree apart. Okay, that'll do. Okay, doing a quick save. Something I would really like your guys' opinion on is in the next series, which is coming up soon, should I do quick saving or should I accept the terrors of error? What do you think? Should I put myself in a position where mistakes really have meaning? I'll admit I'm really tempted because this has been, challenging for sure. But if with a budget and reputation and everything else on the line, errors are kind of really important to the world. perhaps we'll have to set some rules for what is an acceptable save and restart and what is not. For example, if I want to do simulations, quote unquote, do them as sort of a preset, assign basically, yes, we're doing simulations right now, so I can save and reload at will. Anyways, just food for thought. So we're going to burn at 1 minute and, 30, actually right now should do. Okay. Burning, full throttle. Here we go. We're just going to watch this right here. Now that I have a better idea of what I'm actually looking at here, for those of you that haven't seen Flyer's Ed, which is sort of an informal tutorial series that a friend of mine is, Mr. Pfister, is kind of tutoring me in. It'll be running Mondays for now. Just a little side thing. It'll be sandbox based, and I'll be learning all sorts of new tricks and techniques that I will then be able to apply said knowledge to my not sandbox series here. So feel free to throw subjects in our direction if you've got something you're curious about, our take on it. Fire away. Ideas are always appreciated. Okay, 23 seconds left. Looking good, looking good. So inclination is almost in place. Just a little further. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Just burn off. Oh, no, we're good. We're good. Good enough. So our relative, 0.3 apart at ascending and descending. So pretty good. So now, do we try and get to it? Let's see. What could we do to get there, get to it? I'm pondering swinging around and trying to sort of come back at it. So if I burn at this thing's periaps, I'm just pondering an idea here. If I do that, let's see, intersect 1. No, we're going to be, let's see, target position. No, we're going too far. Target position at intersect 1, target position at intersect 2. Intersect 2. No, we're getting out of alignment here. Intersect 1. No, still not. We're just pondering if I can actually do a burn that will get us closer here. Or if we should wait for it to be really close and then burn when it's almost right on top of us. That's probably the more sensible thing to do. Do the orbit matching when we're close together rather than far apart. Granted, it's going to be coming in screaming fast. Let's do a quick save. This is kind of a learning opportunity here. And we'll run a few orbits and we'll see. Yeah, so target position. So it's going to be a few orbits before it gets closer. I suppose one way to do this would actually be to fly it from the command pod here. So yeah, so these are the 2 points where we're going to be in sort of a matching, orbit matching opportunity. So let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, we're just in a low enough orbit that this is going to take some time. I might just have to let you guys go. Yeah, here we go. So now the next one will be closer. So next orbit should do it. We should be able to plan a matching burn for this. I think that'll be exactly right. So here comes Minmus Lander Mark III command. And here comes Rescue 1 with immense quantities of battery power left. I really overdid that. I grossly overdid that, in fact. And on this orbit, I just hope we're not going to miss. That's my only worry, is that this thing is speeding up really fast. Okay. Yeah, we're going to miss. Okay. So this right here was our closest approach. So we need to accelerate a little so that our let's see, we've got to play catch up here. We're getting closer. Let's see, we're just going to radially adjust it. Let's see, separation still further than I would like. Let's see how close we're getting. 1,000. Let's see, we'll do some more radial adjustment here. Okay, let's see. So intersect 2, or sorry, yeah, so if we burn in 30 minutes, let's see, can we do this any better? Because the problem is if we do it too much sooner, we're going to wind up going through the planet like so, yeah. Okay, let's see then. Probably should have done it sooner. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Is that a... No, that's not a close match. Let's see. Let me just... let me do a bit of checking off camera and we will see. Be right back. Okay, we're going to call this experiment number 1. We're not going to get a perfect match of our orbits. However, at intersect 1, which is our closest approach, we're going to be at a distance of 2,159 playing catch-up. If I do this burn as planned, my next intersect will be at a distance of 1,371 kilometers catching up, and then we can see what it will take to catch up the next tick. It's going to be expensive, fuel-wise. I've got quick saves, so if I've made a horrible mistake, I can still recover. But I have a good feeling about this plan. It feels right. We're already matched in terms of angular directions and all that jazz, so that's good. So all we need to do is go around the orbit and hope that we can figure out exactly how long we're going to have to burn for to make this match. Probably about 3 minutes. We'll call it, we're going to guess 3 minutes. Okay, so let's get around the planet. In 30 minutes time, we will be around and in the right angle to do this burn, and then we will see what happens. The way I see it, if we're getting closer, we're doing something right. So that's sort of the theorem I'm going to go with here. So it will have gone screaming past us. We're going to be burning prograde to target, which is kind of what I want to be doing anyways. Or sorry, not burning prograde, but burning towards the target. Which, yeah, as I say, is kind of the goal. 3, 2... Let's see, if I said 3-minute burn as a guess, so we'll burn at T minus 1 minute 30. Here we go. Good enough. Oh, a little shorter than I thought, but that's okay. Okay. Now we want to get this one as close close to matched as possible. So we shall see what we shall see. But as I say, I've got a good feeling about this. Yeah, a bit on either side. But our target is roaring out there really fast. I have to wonder if I had departed one orbit sooner, if this would have been easier or not. But catch up I can play. 1,000 kilometers is not that bad in the grand scheme of things in terms of distance. So I'm pretty sure that's the separation I'm going to have. Yeah, 1,300 kilometers. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. So far, so good. 50 seconds to go. All about the timing here. Trying to stay on that mark there this time. I think it might be kind of important. 30 seconds to go. Burn. Let's just hope that it's going to remotely match what I had planned. 6 seconds left. It's 100 meters per second to go. Speed. Ready to cut. On the mark. Okay, good enough. Let's get rid of this and let's see what we got. Still pretty good, not quite as what I'd hoped for. Well, I guess if we're still improving that distance there, we can keep going a little longer. Oh, yeah, no, it should be just a slight... Oh, crap, did I overdo it? I overdid it, didn't I? Ah, bugger. Ah, screwed up. Just a second. Well, second attempt seemed to work out okay. I need to do another 9-second burn to get me a 11.5 kilometer separation on the return orbit. So that I am pretty pleased with, because that we can, this is close enough for us to start doing some proper maneuvers here. So that was a good bit of fortune. I actually was just a little off on my first burn, so, but hey, a happy accident is a happy accident. I'm not going to complain about getting it right on the second try. I'm just going to make sure I actually have my SAS system active. But with that, this thing should be pretty close to being right. So I'm going to quick save right now, because this is exactly when my computer would crash or the power would go out. I don't have a battery backup on this thing, so it would be pretty terrible. Battery backups are expensive. Have one at work, and it saved my life so many times. Sitting there doing database work, the network connection up to the city hall doesn't even go down. All the servers are on battery backups, everything. It's fantastic. So, but here, no such luck. If the power goes out, so does my computer. Such is life. Okay. So a bit of radial adjustment and a bit of prograde adjustment, but an 11 kilometer separation is a pretty nice number, which we're going to start doing in about 2 seconds. Here we go. Adjusting, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Close enough. Go away. 28 kilometers, not quite as... Okay, well, I guess we could get a little closer. There we are. That's it right there. Okay. Quick save. Alrighty, everyone. So when we get here, I'll quick save again, and we'll decide what we're going to do next, because we are going to be actually close enough to see this ship. And then we're going to start drifting away again, which means what we're going to need to do is kill our relative motion when we get there. So let's take it around. Because yeah, we're going much faster because we have a shorter orbit than the manned lander. It's perfect. And in a few minutes, it's going to toggle over to... Oh, beautiful. Look at that. We're coming in. So when we're just about there... Okay, let's slow it down. Where is it? Okay, so we need to burn retro to target to kill our relative motion. Where is our target? Come on. I always forget not to fight with my... Should be just behind? No. No, we're still not close enough to see it yet. But we are almost at our match point. There it is. Okay. Killing that relative motion. We want to be going nice and slow relative to this thing, and then we can burn closer to it. Because we want to stay within 11 kilometers of this thing. 10, 9. Just a little bit. Okay. So we're very slowly drifting apart now, so let's just kill a little bit more of this relative motion. And then we'll start burning towards the target so that we actually are going to start moving towards it. That should do it. Alright, but we want that to happen sooner. We want to be at our target much, much sooner than that. So that means a little burn towards my target ship so that we're actually moving towards it. Oh, there it is. There's our target. Okay. Here we go. Our prograde is moving into position. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Where is it? With 3. I'm just going to watch this until we get down into a much more reasonable range. Because we're actually going to be doing this encounter at just about the right time. We might be able to break this thing and get it out of the our orbital hair, so to speak. Brilliant. We have lots of fuel left. 3, 2.2. Lovely. Look at that. 1.9. As long as we're still getting closer, we'll keep doing this. As soon as that number starts ticking back up again, we will stop. 5, 4, 0.3. We're drawing the prograde marker into our target. 1. We're going to be going quite quick relative to it when we get there. 9. We're going to also be doing this very soon. 7, 6. Nice. 500. That is probably going to do for the purposes of this burn. Okay. So let's quick save. That is a nice close 500 meter approach. And when we get a lot closer, we're going to get ready to cut our speed relative. Whoa, 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 whoa. Time warp. Don't you be doing that to me. Then we will cut our relative speed and get ready to do our final docking maneuvers. Piece of cake. Now that I know what all the numbers mean, everything's just a little bit more logical. There we are. Stop, stop, stop. So we need to wait until we are a little closer. Not too fast though. We're just about at the point. Yeah, we definitely need to start slowing down now. There it is. Right there. Yep, stop those numbers from changing. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. 3, 2, 1, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. There we are. Okay. Target acquired. Target is close enough probably to switch to now. There it is. Yep. Which we will adjust that in a minute. Let's see. You're still alive. You've still got electric to burn, life support to burn. Excellent. Okay. And time to ignore the map view. This is all about the maneuvering system now. Mostly maneuvering towards the target at the moment. And I think most of this is going to be with RCS now because we've got lots of that left. Okay. Yeah, only 500 meters. We can do that with RCS. Here we go. A little bit more of a burst towards our ship. And in a moment, we are going to switch. Actually, we'll do that right now. Chase cam. There we go. Orbit rotation. All right, let's get this thing reoriented. There's our target. So a little bit of monopropellant left, but it was definitely starting to get iffy. And this thing's also only got one set of just design flaw. There's only a set of burners right in the middle here, so it's actually really inefficient to rotate. This ship over here is way, way more efficient to work with. But if I can at least get this one pointing in the right direction, which I might also have to slow that guy down. He's coming in pretty fast right now. Okay. Looking good. Let's just get her around. Slow down, slow down. Okay. Pointing in more or less the right direction. Over there. Okay, slow her down a bit, guy. Actually, we're not doing bad. Over there, down there. A little rotation. Excellent. Okay. We're going in. This is going quite lovely, quite nicely. And then we'll transfer all of this stuff and we'll do a slight deorbiting burn and use a bit of atmosphere to cut off the rest of this ship's orbital speed before we dump it. Actually, might even be able to do that with the this lander pod attached so that we can keep the solar panels, because they might be nice to have. Okay, coming in nice and fast, relatively speaking. 2 meters per second. We can cut most of that really close to the end here. We have so much fuel left on this rescue craft, it's not even funny. Well, it is funny. It's great. Look at that. We haven't even used a 1/10 of the electrical on here. Overkill much? Yep. Massive overkill. But you know what? That's okay. Those guys can stay off. I'm keeping them for future use. Let's get that a little bit more on target. And just keep letting that drift in nice and slow. 56 seconds. Actually, that's one useful thing right here is time to intersect. That's basically telling me how long it is before these two ships hit each other. Speaking of which, let's slow that down a little. Okay, a tiny bit of adjustment to where we're pointing. Okay. Probably getting to the point where we're going to actually need the fine controls. Okay, let's see. Are we pointing in the right direction? Not quite, but close. Excellent. Right, back to this one. 40 meters to go. All right, I was told F4, yeah. F4 toggles that information. Thank you for letting me know about that. Sorry, just something popped into my head when I was thinking about what happened on the last docking. Okay, time to slow down a bit more. Only 30 meters to go. Nice. A little bit of up. Up, 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 up. Up, 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 up. Over. Really, this thing should just be able to go straight into the atmosphere. We're coming in, we're inside of a lunar orbit, and it's the bigger shield than I usually use for these jobs for a lunar return. So should be able to return to get to Kerbin straight off. I shouldn't even need to worry about trying to ablate off any extra hardware here. I do just want to make sure I deorbit this thing at least. Whole other interesting problem, designing ships that can actually clean up the mess that we've made of the universe. A ship, I guess the claw could be useful for that. An experiment for next series. Learning how to clean up our orbital messes. Okay. There we are. Just about as good as she's going to get. Look at that. 12 meters to go, right on target. .1 meters per second. And in a second, we should start having the magnetic pole bring the two ships together. When you can do it, you can do it. Just a tiny bit more. I don't know how we could possibly go any slower, so and still have significant figures in. Okay, and SAS off. SAS off. We're perfect. That's perfect. We're right in contact. It'll just take a second to do its thing. Ha! Best docking job yet. And that's saying something. All right, so the reason I use the cupola module, of course, is because, let me see, this one needs to be, we've got life support on. Okay, everything's in place. We're going to transfer Lars Kerman, stored data. There we are. So now our landing capable module is good to go. And we are in a position to do a burn to take us out of orbit. Because it's not going to take much at this point. All right, let's get the full thrust on. Okay, and we're going to fly from here. Yeah. Okay, trying to decide if that feels like an actual retrograde. I guess I could just use the RCS to try and do it. And it feels like I'm going to be pointing in a prograde. This is not going to slow me down. This is going to... Wait, is it? We'll figure it out. I'll be able to tell from this number right here, because all we have to do is burn off a minimum. Oops. I just hit quick save. Okay, lock it on. Lock it on. And let's do a... Okay, yep. So it will take just a slight burn in this direction to cut our periapsis down into the atmosphere. Here we go again. We're going to go down to 50. There we are. Now I have on this ship this is the culprit right here. You see how it's got so little space between the yeah, that's the problem right there. Probe core enabled. So when I undock these things, I can get the two ships far enough apart that they're not going to collide with each other on yeah, as we go past the planet 45. Should be plenty good enough. Okay. Undock. Okay, everything's online here. Yes, except for we'll have to make sure we turn on electric and mono before this thing decouples. But in the meantime, there's plenty of extra. Undock. This one is going to go RCS on. Use that last little bit of RCS. Get yourself away from the ship. And every drop of fuel you use is going to be used to get further and further away from the important ship. But that's pretty awesome. Okay. So this derelict is going to be under control. I think we're getting far enough away. And further away all the time. Because we're going to be coming in at a very... This mess will be coming in at a very different angle from this one over here. Okay. So... what we should be able to do now is, since we've got so much fuel left, let's just do a nice clean deorbit burn, and then we have nothing to worry about with regards to our re-entry. Because we got all this extra fuel, let's just do it right, do it clean. Control from here. Okay. Excellent. Let's get the last engine in on the party too, because why not? Okay, we just got to be to the right side of this to make sure. Ooh, we are actually raising ourselves up quite high right now. There we go. Take her back down again. It's interesting just how different these things are in terms of what happens when you burn in certain places. Because I just burned 3 minutes early here. It just gave me the ballpark of where I need to point the ship to do this. Okay, so the closer I am to the blue marker, the more I will raise it, which is cool. closer I am to the yellow marker, the more I will lower it. Cool. Just take it down a bit more. I mean, 1,000,000 kilometers is not a bad re-entry distance. Do 50. See, I mean, we've done further distances from Mooner. We've done re-entries directly from the moon with none of this little, oh, hello, glitchification right there. Okay, keep that number, no, up. There we are. And now all we've got left is the Poodle engine. Take ourselves in a little closer here and do one more burn just for kicks. Because it's fun. Extra burns. It'd be nice to find that precise, oh, there it is, right about somewhere around here is the precise equilibrium point. Yeah, very close to right there. Somewhere. Cool. I don't know why the Kerbin just glitched out on us visually there. I'm just trying to keep that number around 50 kilometers. And we're just burning off this fuel for the fun of it, really. So why not? We just spent a whole bunch of time getting all this fuel up into orbit. We might as well use most of it up. I've been told if I could actually deorbit this without needing the heat shield, potentially. If you have an apoapse and periapse just barely in the top of the atmosphere, you can actually deorbit very slowly, and theoretically you won't even run into heat shield problems. But that's a job for another day. We're getting this guy home. Time to go home, Lars. You've done a couple extra trips around Kerbin that weren't really on your original agenda. In fact, he has done about 10 orbits around Kerbin. Enough trips around the planet that we'd actually start being worried about whether or not he has enough food left to survive the trip. Good enough. We're going to leave it at that. Let's get ourselves down to the atmosphere and get ready to do our final decoupling. Here we are at the atmosphere. Okay. RCS on, batteries on. Oops. Batteries off, RCS off. Transfer that in. Okay, RCS, but the batteries are on. Okay. Okay, our final little adjustment right there. And then we're going to get rid of all those extra tanks. There we go. And then we go a little bit to get away from those. There we go. And this one is still under control. Yep, still full. But we are about to start having some serious fun here. And I think it is time, in just a second here. Oh, not quite. We haven't hit the heating part of the atmosphere yet. So let's just hope that we are pointed in the right direction. And see if we're going to actually get ourselves landed here. Yeah, we're going to do it. No problem. Okay, let's get that engine out of the way. We don't want that thing to be firing when we hit the atmosphere. Or when heating starts to happen. Actually, most of that's from my firing of the engine. Just making sure. We want to make sure this is a home trip. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Electrical on, monopropellant will be on in a... Actually, monopropellant is on now. Ejecting the final core because I think heating is officially starting in just a second here. Or is it? Maybe not. No, it's got to be starting soon. Yeah, here goes. It's just starting. The ablative heating is just starting. One last kick of the can. Yeah, here we go. No, it's still cooling. It's still cold enough to actually, this thing can actually lose its heat at 40 kilometers, 48 kilometers above. That ain't going to last much longer, though. In fact, I think we've just hit the point where heating is atmospheric heating is becoming an issue. Yep, and we're about to be officially on a re-entry angle, so let's get ourselves... Whoa! That scared me for a second there. On course. Let the rest of Rescue 1 drift away into the distance and show us how to burn up in the atmosphere. Hope you're having fun there, Lars. It's a good final, the grand finale. A safe return in spite of a fairly critical design flaw, if you ask me. All right, the atmosphere should do most of the work here in a moment. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, we'll just use the SAS to hopefully keep this thing under control. Interesting that the heating hasn't taken over yet. I don't know. Oh, right, it takes over at the middle atmosphere, doesn't it? We're coming in quite shallow, which is kind of nice. But that's not going to last much longer, I tell you. Rescue probe is actually, I think, it's getting further and further away, which is good. It's also in a higher orbit as well. Man, is it disorienting sometimes, this angle we're at? I don't know why. It just seems really disorienting. Okay. Point our nose slightly towards the sky, but at some point the atmosphere is going to do all the work for us, it says here in fine print. Yeah, our shields are beginning to heat up. This is the moment of truth. Did I install this properly after, staring at it over and over and over again for the past 2 hours? Now, regardless, here goes the ablative shielding. This thing is still a comfortable 60 degrees and rising slowly, but not as quickly as the heat shield is. Heat shield is actually starting to ablate now. And it looks like we're going to hit an ocean. Even better. Okay. Just keep us at the proper angle here. Flying eye. Oh, just in time. If this works, my wife is just home from work, so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. Oh, and my daughter is fussing. Might have to go for a second here. Real life never fails, does it? That's awesome. But we are looking exceptionally well. We actually came in pretty... Oh, here comes the heat. We're bringing the heat now. Still a balmy 60 degrees in that, 70 degrees Celsius in there. Oh, sounds like everything's okay. Ooh, ooh, sound. Sound. I can hear it. We are almost there. The atmosphere has arrived, and we are almost home. Oh, and I have a job to do. I will be right back. My apologies. The duties of real life always come first. She was just upset about... My wife just got home and the garage door woke her up. So she decided that it was time to fuss a little. Okay. We're coming down in the middle of the Great Ocean, apparently. Man. About as far from land as is... Almost as far from land as is physically possible in this game. There we are. Oh, right. I'm still not... No wonder it's acting a little odd. Chase cam... auto. That's why it felt just a little funny. I was in the chase cam still, which doesn't really behave the right way in the atmosphere. Okay. At 5,000 meters, we deploy the parachutes. Because it also gets it underneath the speed threshold that worries me about deploying those. Actually, we should be okay now, shouldn't we? See, this is approximately the terminal velocity, which would go down to around 95 as we got a little lower in the atmosphere. Beautiful. A textbook landing. The way that the mission was originally supposed to go in the first place. But you know what? That's okay. It was a good experience in making a rendezvous with a object in an eccentric and inclined orbit, which is good experience for potential future endeavors like encountering asteroids. Boom! That was a big pulse of G-forces. The parachutes deploying is really hard on our little Kerbals, isn't it? Well, we have survived a trip to Minmus, and we are now going to use a little time acceleration to get us to the ground in a more reasonable quantity of time, because 500 meters at 6.3 meters per second is a long, long ways. And touchdown. Recovery. The final mission of Season 2 is complete. So, let's just have a look at our research just to see how far our trip to Minmus went. 1,467. I think it's 1,800. But we got 1,100 science from a manned mission to Minmus. So let's see. In the research center, 1,400. These are all 1,800 science nodes. So if I was to be continuing on this, I would be looking at probably a trip, a couple of stops at the moon. I would have done a couple more stops at the moon while I was at the moon earlier. I believe there's also some... I'm not sure if there's some atmosphere analysis I could still do on Kerbin. I can't think if there's one or two more biomes I could do that on, but possibly, yeah. Yeah, I haven't done the ice caps, so there's at least one more, but that's only 40. That's 40 science. That would get me to 1,500, and then 2 surface samples from the moon would probably do the trick. So, there you go. But if I had to go back and do this again, I would not have purchased this node. This engine was this whole section, other than getting the, which I already had, the bigger tank. That bigger tank, I think, was, yeah, there it is right there. We got the big tank. These engines, not really worth the trouble. So if I was to go back, I would have purchased probably one of these other nodes first. Not sure which, but maybe, and the cupola biometric sensor, it worked out okay. Not quite what I'd hoped for. The one-man lander turned out, this can turned out to be way better than I had anticipated. These solar panels probably would have saved me a lot of headaches if I'd gotten them instead, because of their ability to auto point in the right bloody direction, and that could have allowed me to build much better solar arrays. The much more compact, super tiny battery packs also could have saved me a lot of trouble. Some new styles. So I think probably this node for the higher launch capacity, and the nuke, which gives me the ability to go into the outer planets, and these solar panels if I had to go back and do it again. But the tech tree is likely going to have changed again. So join me in 1 week's time. I'm going to take a couple of days off to sort of get the next tier, the mods organized, and kind of catch my breath for a few days. Just to a minor palette cleanser. 1 week is not a long break, and then join me in a week's time for the beginning of season 3, where we tackle building on a budget. Thank you all very much for watching. It's been a real good run for season 2. I appreciate all your support, suggestions, advice, and the works. I'll see you in season 3. Bye for now.